warm welcome. Today we have with us Mr. Puneet Tripathi, who is the head of data science at Wakefit. A very warm welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us at CXOTV.
Thanks, Udmi. Thanks for having me here. It's wonderful to speak about these things.
Thank you, sir. So before we begin discussion, we actually would like to hear from you how your journey has been throughout these years. If you can share your experience to our CXOTV audience.
Sure, Udmi. I am currently leading data science initiatives at Wakefit. Before this, I have worked at multiple organizations like Ambi, BlackRock, and was part of founding team of a startup called Actify Data Labs. And throughout this journey, I have focused on a lot of data-related initiatives from data engineering to data analysis to data science to BDIN, data warehousing. So at Wakefit, our priority, as you would know, that Wakefit is a home solution and a mattress selling e-commerce company. At Wakefit, our priority is customer and their experience in touching their lives, making them sleep better, for them to have better home and experience, making their life more comfortable, so to say.
Right.
So data science plays a part in identifying opportunities, identifying what can be done to make customers' decision, like making life cycle smaller, what can be recommended to them, what can be done to improve the supply chain, because for the larger product, the supply chain is pretty broken across the industry. So what can be done to improve that as an outcome of the initiative that we take here?
Okay. Thank you for letting us know on that. So as a head of data science, and it's absolutely a evolving field, and we would actually like to hear about some of the latest trends and techniques and advancement, if you can highlight.
The latest techniques, trends, and advancement in the field. So you would the way what we used to do as analytics or as model building about 10-15 years back is not the same anymore. Earlier there were technologies we were working on like SAS and SPSS and similar proprietary tools, but there has been more kind of democratization, or so to say, federation that has happened over last many years, and which has led to tech being machine learning and data science being available as a service, so to say. Currently, there are a bunch of AI/ML tools and platforms which will give you a baseline model right out of the box, and then you can definitely work from there. And then lately, there has been a lot of this, and even last decade, there were a bunch of developments in terms of distributed computing, in terms of federated computing. So now we are looking at at the beginning of last year, we saw ChatGPT, and that has led to a bunch of revolution across different industries. Now we're looking at changing ways of working with that. Earlier, unstructured data like images and videos were something which very, very few organizations with very large computers could work on. Now, companies like Wakefit are making use of AI in, for example, our latest ad with Ayushman Khurrana that uses a bunch of AI, and we have that was like a de-aging kind of AI that we have used to make sure that you can see that how these things are getting married together to produce real world artifacts which are helping organizations achieve their goals.
All right. So, we would actually like to understand how is data science transforming the way Wakefit operates and delivers a value to its customers.
Definitely. Wakefit has been a disruptor in its way since our inception. People couldn't imagine ordering mattresses online, and then we just changed them. And we could not imagine. When you think of mattress being coming to your house, you always imagine an auto wala or a rickshaw wala or a truck wala coming with huge mattress of it. But we were the first one to introduce rollback in India. Then we sent that mattress completely rolled back, and then all the subsequent other organizations within the same space have adopted to that because it helps you logistically as well as in terms of cost initiative.
Right.
Similarly, when we started data team at Wakefit, one of the key principles we had in mind was it has to be something which adds value to the business. Wakefit is a very, very ROI driven organization. So all our efforts are towards that. Some of the example for initiative that we have taken over years will be intent model, which is basically Wakefit as a company. So we do a lot of business on our D2C website, and then there is a significant amount of business that happens on Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, and Amazon, Flipkart, and various other marketplaces.
Right.
If please cut out Myntra wala part. Do you want if I can start later? I can start if you want, but please cut out that Myntra wala part if possible.
Okay. Do you want to restart with this second? The second question, or
Sure.
only that part? I think he will.
We'll cut that part. Will be good. You can cut the name of Myntra from the entire conversation.
Okay, fine. That works then.
Cool. So we have been selling on marketplaces for a long time, and but a majority of our business happens on our website, and so that also means a lot of customers come to our website, they explore, they want to see the product, and what intent model does, it tells us a quantification of the propensity for a customer to buy. Now, with propensity, we can reach out to these customers in subsequent interaction, try to offer them products which they were looking at, try to offer them, help them understand more about those products so that their decision making can be much more impactful. And very, very thought-driven. We'd like to help our customer do make their decision with a lot of education rather than, I want a product, I went to a website, I bought it. I think we should be very connected with the product. Then another example of the initiative that we have taken here, which has helped us, is entire planning as a module. Since Wakefit is a very ROI-driven organization and we are very cost-effective, that also means we have to stay cost-effective in order to give best value to the customer. We want to give best possible product at the most amazing price. So it goes on those lines. You have to be very creative in order to in terms of storing inventory, in terms of managing your timelines of delivery. In order to just do that, we have something called just-in-time inventory model, which is where we plan all our middleware. We are operational. We have warehouses in 23 cities. We have more than 40 stores right now. So we work on very minimal inventory wherever possible. So in order to do that, we have models which keep on predicting what kind of demand each of these warehouses have, what kind of safety stock we need to build, what kind of ROP and ROLs we need to maintain. Though all those things allow us to keep our inventory in check, keep our finished good inventory in check, and make sure that whatever is needed, whatever is selling in high volume is in stock, and whatever is needed, which is relatively lower quantity in terms of sale, is available just in time, so that we make them available to customers, and subsequently achieving all our OTIFs and all our primary key indicators, which will allow us to deliver best value to the customer in the right possible time. So these are some of the examples. I can go on about how we have built forecast model, how we have built kind of predictive models at our organization. But these are some of the examples how we're adding value to the top line as well as bottom line.
Right. I think I completely agree. We as commoners cannot imagine, without getting into a shop, you're buying mattresses for yourself, without that feel of touch and understanding, how exactly comfortness is going to happen. And I think Wakefit giving that opportunity and that comfortness together is a brilliant thing altogether. So,
what is like is mentioned in my in few minutes back as well, that Wakefit has more than 40 stores. We understand the significance that touch and feel plays in our buying journey.
Absolutely.
So, owing to that, and which also means retail is a big priority for us. Being omnichannel is a big priority for us. So data science plays a vital role there as well. How much inventory should be kept in a store? What kind of, how to rotate that inventory? What kind of item should be there? These are all questions for us. How am I doing in terms of my sale? Can I find insight which part of my business is dipping in my retail store while it is doing well in the e-commerce? So having those insights right at your fingertips is something to strive for.
Right. So we would like to understand, how do you use the integration of data analytics and machine learning to enhance the customer experience first, and also in terms of the product development in the sleep and sound sleep solution industry.
So, uh, in order for customer experience, we like to understand. We actually do deep dive, exploratory analysis, and then subsequent deep dives of the data that we have. We have calls data, we have tickets data, we have chat data, we are not proud of it, but do our customers do reach out to us, complaining more often than not, for things which they think that we could do better, and we keep a record of all of these things, and we learn from all those things in terms of we have got voice of customer, we're building voice of customer model. We've got some basic models already available which are telling us where these calls are coming from, what are the key issues that our customer are facing, where all these tickets are coming from, what are the key things these customers are facing. Then how we are doing in terms of interactions per order, how we are doing in terms of interaction per unit. Interaction is any call or ticket or chat that you are doing with us, and we strive to get them down as much as possible. We have a customer experience team who constantly demands, what is my forecast for next month in terms of how much volume am I going to do? Can you convert that into the number of calls? So we have those kind of forecasting algorithms as well, which tells us how many calls we have to get, for using which we plan our entire headcount for call centers and everything, in order to give right support to our customer whenever and wherever they have any questions. At the same time, customer experience that just doesn't mean customer support. It also means how you deliver the product to the customer, how effective you are in delivering right product to the right customer at the right time. So we have got models which is wherein we are able to predict delivery time. We're able to predict whether we are able to quantify the pain score in case a customer's delivery is going to get delayed, so that we can expedite some of those things. We have got models which are doing inventory allocation to the order in the best possible manner, optimizing customer experience, or other similar KPIs which are basically a representative of customer experience. So all of this goes as something which is an input toward making sure that we are enabling our teams in supply chain, our teams in customer experience, customer support, customer experience team, to deliver best possible post-purchase experience. While post-purchase is important, pre-purchase is equally important.
Yes.
So this we help and support our product teams in order to what kind of different widgets on the platform customers are interacting with, what kind of how they're traversing through the funnel, what is it that is enabling customer to make the decision of purchase, what can be done to find to make the discovery easier for customer, which is reducing overall customers effort score. And post-purchase, whatever we do reduces the anxiety, reduces the overall customer pain, and subsequently improving our NPS, Net Promoter Score.
So in data science application, as you were mentioning, that models are quite essentials. So in terms of machine learning models, what's your approach in selecting the right algorithm and the fine-tuning models for optimal performance?
So, see, what we generally do is we go very deep dive. We speak with our business to understand the overall context.
Okay.
And we speak with business to understand what is the key metric or the key goal they are trying to achieve. For example, I could be working really hard to get the best possible technical model. But if it is something which the business has to trust blindly without knowing what is the reason for this. For example, I make a forecast and I tell them you are going to sell 10,000 product on this date, or 1 lakh product in this month. My business is going to come back to me asking that what is the reason, why do you think this will happen? If I tell that this customer has a 90% propensity to buy, the real question would be what are the key factors, why do you think this will happen in X, way or the Y? So the key factor that we keep in mind is explainability, keeping the model simpler. And if at all we are going for a complex model like some of these gray box or black box model, we try to use libraries like Lime or Sharp in order to explain the model. That is the part where we help business to understand. Now coming to the part where we decide which model to use. So we do feature engineering where we have, so for a lot of these things, we have been able to create a huge feature bank, which supplements our model building as well as supplements our analytics. So a lot of these features are also part of some of the feature bank is also part of some of the daily analysis or ad hoc analysis we get as a request. Now, with this, we try multiple models. We first create a benchmark model, which could be created by any of the AI engine, any of these, out of the box AI product that many of the hypervisor or a lot of these platforms offer. Then we go on to tune the hyperparameter of these models. We use, so if I'm doing some classification model, I try to look at precision. I like to look at F1 score, recall. I look at AUC. It depends on the use case that I'm trying to solve. What my priority is. I might just be trying to optimize precision because I need to be accurate in terms of if I'm saying Urmi is going to buy my product, I need to be more accurate. So then I focus on precision. So it depends on case to case, but there are a lot of these area under curve, Gini index, all of these different measures are there which we use to say that how powerful, how strong, or how weak my model is. Then there are business metrics that, though I have developed this model, we try to simulate what would have been the result if I had this model last month. So so that I can also correlate that with the business metric and which my business care for, which my stakeholder care for, and subsequently, for example, we're building a cost an optimization model for improved cost of our 3PL. Now, in order to do that, we are trying to look at multiple attributes of that of the equation, and subsequently trying to go back to few past months and compare that X is the cost that I incurred and Y is the new cost. Is Y better than X? If it is not, if I'm not any value, if I'm not doing any extra thing, then that clearly means I should not. There is no reason for it. If there is no incremental benefit, there is no reason for it to go to production.
Right. So in the realm of data science, how do you strike a balance between using sophisticated algorithms and keeping solutions accessible and understandable for a wider audience?
So, depends on. I think it depends on the kind of problem that you're solving. Okay. There could be problems which are really complex, and for example, there are a bunch of these images and voice and text use cases, wherein I may have to use more complex models. And sometimes the problem is in itself is too complex that you have to rely on models which will give you edge over the other, right? But if I'm looking at some fundamental problem, I'm trying to identify factors affecting my outcome, I would rather stick with a more a simpler method of evaluation, a simpler method of modeling that problem. For example, if I'm looking at intent model, we tried many of these models, including many of these deep learning classification modeling and everything. But point is that while we were doing all of these things, we realized that a simple ML model, which I can explain with little effort with using Sharp or Lime, was really helpful. XGBoost, and then we were able to find key feature. We have feature reports that these are the key features that are leading to the outcome I'm getting, and then how those relationships are working. We were able to decipher all of that. Some of these using Sharp, so that makes my life easier. And then sometimes you just build very basic. What I learned from some of the key leaders that I worked with, things like logistics regression and everything. We build those models in order to explain how the variance is, why this variance has happened, what led to this outcome against the contemporary outcome.
Could you discuss with us your process of extracting the actionable insights from large and complex database, as it's very crucial to understand? And how do you go from a raw data to meaningful recommendations? If you can highlight those.
I think there is no good answer that I have for you on this, but and this has. I think this is one of the key problems that I have faced at multiple organizations.
Okay.
And one of the key difference is that raw data is different for different organizations, different industry.
Right.
different kind of processes that you have. It is very much dependent on what you as an organization really focus on. So before you convert anything into meaningful insight, you have to first do a lot of, you have to spend a lot of time, invest a lot of effort in transforming this data into bringing that to some standard level wherein this can actually start making sense. So and more often than not, that effort is less recognized than the highly glorified, effort of representing that data and saying that this is the insight. But transforming that data, cleaning that data, making sure that it is fully validated, the values that are supposed to be in a column are absolutely right, and there is no junk in there, is very crucial. And then we start exploring that data. Then we start making relationships between different entities. We trying to decipher how X is leading to Y, establishing correlations between multiple variables, and trying to plot them against my business outcome that happened in that month or quarter or whatever the time period is. Then basis that we try to then once we have established those relationships, once we have got a sense of what my data is trying to tell me. For example, if somebody asks me, there is a common notion that whenever you drop prices, your volume will increase. But there is a saturation to it. You can't just keep on dropping price and your volume keep on going up. And then even if you drop price at multiple times, your volume doesn't change. What are the key factors which are there? So very simple insight that when you drop price to this level, or this is the comfortable level, that elasticity, that between 10 rupees and 12 rupees is your sweet spot. If you go below 10, an incremental benefit will not be there, because you'll end up competing with you'll end up unlocking competitors who were earlier not the consideration set for a customer. But when you go above 12, you're now competing with people who are you're competing with competitors with who where customer is looking for a little more in terms of, say, premiumness or something else, which may not be your right USP. So if you go beyond certain point, you might be unlocking a bunch of things which may not be a priority. And if you go beyond certain, again you unlock certain which are not a priority. So identifying those insights can only happen when you have business context, when you are using right tools, when you are building right relationship, when you have already cleaned and organized your data in a way wherein this can start making sense. So raw data to that standardized data, and then to then having those questions from business, or writing those questions that these are the set of questions, 10, 20, 50 or 100 questions that I need an answer for. Then identifying what is the right data points. Do I have data points to answer all these questions or not? Maybe you have 100 questions, but with the current data points, you can only answer 50. Now, once you have data point, what kind of aggregations do you build? What kind of KPIs or metrics you have to build? Then what kind of dimensions should you measure these KPIs against? Once you have all this map, writing code, building dashboard, building charts become very easy. Identifying those insights become very easy. And another thing that I would not discount is the iterativeness of data science as a practice. I create something with a lot of brainstorming, working with business, hand-holding them throughout the journey, keeping them informed. But at the same time, when all of these things come together, and my end user sees the data, or I see that data, I see those, and I realize that maybe we should answer 20 more questions. That will make it more comprehensive. And when those 20 answer, that unlocks another 20 questions, or another 10 questions. So it's an iterative process. You keep on improving. So that continuous improvement, continuous feedback can't be fully ignored.
Understood. So, in terms of technology, which is concerned, we are seeing the coming up of AI, or also the automations that are happening and getting so much of emphasis in today's world. How do you see the role of data scientists evolving in the next maybe 5 years to come?
So, in my opinion, data science as a practice will become even more important in years to come.
Okay.
Reason being that a lot of practice. Let me give you this example. 4 years back, 5 years back, if you hadn't told me that Wakefit will have a data team this big and will be working on so many data, I might not have thought of it, because Wakefit as a company was a very small startup. We were doing business in few cities. We were trying to still figure out what we were doing. But as the ecosystem evolve, as the businesses evolve, they understand that it is very important to be connected to customer, to understand what their priorities are, to understand what they are really looking for. And with the new generation having smaller attention span, you have very limited time to convey your message to them. So
Absolutely.
so now being at right time, at the right place, with the right audience has become even more critical and important. And data science as a practice helps you identify those opportunities, that these are your right audience. This is the right time to connect with this audience, and these are the right platform to connect with this audience. So if I have that as an information, I can effectively communicate what I have for that customer, and subsequently trying to make an impact over a longer period of time. At the same time, with the dynamics of the socio-economic thing, political, geopolitical things, and everything, all of the entire focus on sustainability of business, profitabilities of business, I think data science as a practice helps you unlock all those avenues wherein you can find that this is the cost, this is the initiative that can help my bottom line, this is the cost which can help me achieve same goal, same top line with the current ROS, with the current spend, which will help my improve, which will improve my ROS. So all of these questions have become extremely important as we speak. And given that, I mean, nobody knows how, given the trend of economics and macro factor that we have all seen in the last 1.5 years or so, nobody knows whether these funding winters or kind of this kind of cloud of growth will stay this similarly for 1 year or 2 years. Given the current economic situations across the globe, and India as a country is not immune, and there is any other country in the world right now. So I think cost and bottom line profitability, all of these things will keep on becoming more and more focused on the leadership side, which will definitely create more and more requirement for innovative ways to identify places where we can identify opportunity where we can reduce costs. So I think role of a data scientist is going to become more and more challenging and more demanding. But the roadmap is there. Another point I would like to add is this advent of generative AI over last few years, and especially focused on last 2 years since ChatGPT has come around.
Right. Yeah.
I think it has led to a lot of productivity issues. Also, it has led to a lot of questions on overall, automation will do this and do that. I don't think it is. I very, very honestly think it is a technology which is going to kind of boost the productivity, help us find creative solutions, help us find right resources. So, data science roadmap also, it will affect data science roadmap as well. It will affect data scientists' future as well. That now we'll be able to find and discuss techniques with rest of the internet. I mean, we were limited by the number of searches we could do, number of papers we could read, number of researches we could go through. Now, people will be able to go through, get suggestion, get first-hand suggestion, get the first-hand document, get the first-hand approach from, and then it will allow us to take it from there, use our creativity, use our knowledge and experience that we have gathered over here, and work on it. So I think it is very complementary to the skills that we have, as well as this itself is a very beautiful use case of certain AI use cases that used to take months to do. Now they will become kind of mundane activities. So they will become BAUs. So which is a good thing, which I think will get to focus more on problems that our businesses face and things that can be solved just by deploying a Gen AI bot somewhere will be definitely a value add in terms of productivity and overall.
So, as you just mentioned that how important it is, like data science is going to grow more. So, we would like to understand in terms of the tech priorities, what are the current tech priorities over the next 5 years, and how is the future outlook overall going to be?
So I think tech plays a very vital role in the entire data science journey, AI journey, ML journey. It is a huge enabler. I think the focus will be on improving the platforms that the community already has, whether it is in terms of better data lake, whether it is in terms of better storage formats. Currently, one of the things we're seeing as a trend is people not sticking to just one hypervisor, people having multiple hypervisor like AWS, GCP, Azure, all of one product from each of these. That definitely is going to be continuing further wherever we find right set of products which matches our requirement, which solves the problem we are trying to solve. We'll try exploring that. I think another thing that I think a lot of organizations, a lot of my peers are exploring is generative AI and how many problems can be solved through it. So I think in coming years, we'll see a lot of adoption on it, or at least a lot of experimentation, which will tell us how useful or what are the key use cases where it is actually useful. Another thing that, in my opinion, has been happening for almost a decade, which is digitization. And I think digitization will keep on happening. There is still a lot of things within finances, within legal, which are completely paper-driven or semi-digitized. I think Doc AI, Gen AI, all of these things are going to definitely improve the overall digitization of the and a lot more businesses will be adopting digitalization, become more digital native. I think a lot of traditional businesses have already started becoming digital first, if not digital native. That I think is going to continue. D2C is going to be something that most of the brand has been focusing on, or at least have become aware that they should be focusing on. So I think that as a thing will keep on progressing. Some of these things that I think is going to really affect the overall journey of organization will be the advancements that are happening in AI/ML world with new techniques and models being new papers being written, all these text-based improvements that are happening. I think there are going to be a lot more use cases which should be unlocked for organizations like us, wherein we'll be able to find what our customers are trying to tell us, what kind of improvement are they looking for, what is the problem we already have, and we may be solving the problem which is leading to 5% of the outcome, and then might be learning something which might be contributing to 90% of the outcome. So those are the key things with the advancement of AI/ML algorithms we'll be able to focus on, and maybe we'll be able to give better results to the business.
I think it's going to just get more amplified over the years to come by. Right. So thank you so much for joining and sharing such insightful knowledge on the industry. Thank you once again for sharing your time. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.